Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're working on my second gen Pajero again. This is a 4M40 2800 Greenfield limited edition, and I'm going to be doing the fuel filter. So pretty straightforward procedure. Basically, we'll take off the intercooler, remove the fuel filter with the housing, remove the fuel filter from the housing, take out the water sensor, put in the new fuel filter, put it all back together, intercooler back on. Shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes. I'll be using this Baldwin filter. There is your part number. You can still get the Mitsubishi part or the Hyundai part, or there's a bunch of any other parts you can use, but I used this one last time. I've had no issues. This one I got off Amazon. If you want to get the Mitsubishi one, you can get it through places like Coombs Country Auto on Vancouver Island, or on eBay. There's a bunch of places. It comes with new O-rings, you can see down there, for where the water sensor attaches to the filter. And it's pretty similar to doing an oil change, just slightly more involved to get at it. So first step is to remove the intercooler. And the intercooler is 4 bolts, 10 mils, 1, 2, and then you can see back there, 3 and 4. We'll also have to disconnect some electrical sensors here. So we'll disconnect both of these sensors, and then I usually just disconnect this from the actual intercooler mount and just let that hang on the engine. So let's get going. We'll start with that. This bolt is also a 10 mil. It's a little bit harder to get at. Also going to remove the 2 intercooler hoses, so clamp there and a clamp there. You can use a Phillips, or my clamps are 10 mil as well, so I'll use a 10 mil. And then the whole intercooler will come out like that. Put that aside. Take off the gas cap just to relieve if there's any pressure in the system. So next we'll remove those 2 fuel lines, one there and one there. Looks like maybe an 8 mil. Or a flathead screwdriver or a Phillips, depending on the clamp that you got on there. Depending on the design of your fuel filter, you may have a sensor to unplug on the side. I do have one over here that I can't really get at, and this is just like a plug. I don't even know what this is, so maybe somebody will know in the comments. That just comes out, and there'll be an electric sensor on the bottom. But to access any of those, I think I'm going to have to remove this housing. So there's two 12 mil bolts on the back. So we'll take those off and remove them. It's a bit tough to get at those 12 mils on the back. You'll probably need a combination of extensions. I'm using 2 extensions. And they're both 12 mil. So we'll take those off next. There you go. So mine has 2 connectors. The top one goes to the top connector and the bottom one goes to the bottom connector. So I just use a wrench, big monkey wrench, to loosen off the water sensor. There's going to be a bunch of fuel inside the filter. So once I remove this, I should be able to empty out whatever fuel is left in there. Oh, there she goes. Oh, hello. Okay, so we drained most of the fuel out. Now I'm going to throw this in the vise. I'm going to clamp this part here just to remove it. It would help if my vise was actually bolted down. So you should be able to take it off by hand or use an oil filter wrench. There it comes. There we go. Oh. Still a little bit of fuel in there. Just clean up the housing a little bit. You can see this one has a seal on the inside, which we do have a new one. So that little O-ring can come off. There's the new one. And put the new one on there. There's the new filter. 7534, 7534. And we can take the old O-ring off of here. I'll put the new O-ring on and sew that onto the new fuel filter. Grab my wrench and just tighten that a little bit. Shouldn't be more than oil filter tight. So basically hand tight. Now, if you have some diesel kicking around, you should definitely fill this up with diesel. It'll just be a little bit easier on your starter pump once the engine starts. Some of the filter housings have little manual pumps on the top, so you can prime it before you start. I don't have any diesel kicking around. My pump doesn't have that little primer, at least that I can see. So I'm just going to be squeezing the fuel lines a little bit to try and get a little bit of fuel in there. And then it's going to turn over a little while once it gets going. But that's okay. I got 2 batteries, so all good. So on goes the new filter. Again, oil filter tight, hand tight. There she goes. And now we're ready to put it back in. Okay, so now this will go back in. Like I said, the bottom connector goes to the bottom connector in there, and the top connector goes to the top connector. This one just kind of sits in the top there for whatever reason. Maybe that's something that's been deleted in the past, I'm not sure. 2 connectors. We'll put the 2 12 mil bolts on the back to get it mounted down. And then we'll reconnect the fuel lines. And we'll tighten up our hose clamps. If your fuel hoses look a little bit rough, you can trim off a little bit on the end just to get some fresh hose on there. I have done that the last time I did it, and they look fine, so I'm going to skip that step. But if you've never done it and they look a little bit rough, now's the time. Put your intercooler bolts back on. Last but not least, remember to cinch up your intercooler hoses. And the very last thing is reconnect everything. Get those through. Done. Put the fuel cap on, and then we'll try and start it up. Because I didn't have any fuel to put into the filter, it's probably going to crank for a little while here. But hopefully not too. Not bad. Okay, so she ran a little rough for a while, but now it's running good. Obviously, there's air in the system there that it's got to push out. Pretty easy, 20 to 30 minutes, not really any harder than an oil filter change and oil change. So definitely don't be scared to tackle this one by yourself. It's a one-person job and kind of ensures the longevity of your engine and specifically your injector pump. I just had to replace my injector pump, had to get my injector pump rebuilt. And let me tell you, that's not cheap. But nice thing about these old mechanical injector pumps is you can do it again and again, and they basically last forever. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers.